Recording is on. Deblina, we can start.
Yes, ma'am. A very good morning to all of you. I, Dr. Devolina Kumar, have the privilege to welcome you in the one-week online workshop on research methodology organized by IQAC and R&D Cell, Vijay Krishna Girls College, Howrah, in collaboration with IQAC, University of Calcutta. May I now request Dr. Jitendranath Das to inaugurate this program with heavy chanting. Jitendra, please.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryavarvavahai Tejasvinavadhutamastu Ma Vidhavahai Om Shanti Om Sang No Mitraha Sang Varunah Sang No Bhavatvariyam Sang Indra Brihaspatihi Sang No Vishnu Rurukramaha Nama Brahmane Namaste Vaya Tvameva Prataksham Brahmasi Tvameva pratakshang brahma vadishyami rihang vadishyami satyang vadishyami tanmam avatu tad bhaktaram avatu avatu mam avatu bhaktaram Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much, Jitendra. Now I am requesting our Honorable Principal Ma'am, Dr. Ruma Bhattacharya, for her welcome address.
Good morning to everyone to this 1 week long workshop on research methodology organized by IQAC Vijay Krishna Girls College in a collaboration with IQAC Calcutta University. I take this opportunity to welcome our Pro Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Ashish Chattopadhyay of Calcutta University. Sir, we are very much honored that you have found time from your very busy schedule to be with us today, this morning. I would also like to welcome Professor Jadab Krishna Das, Director IQAC of Calcutta University and Professor and former Head of Department of Commerce. Once again, sir, I know you have a very busy schedule today and still you found time to be with us. Thank you. Once again, thank you to both of you. And then I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the participants to this workshop. Research methodology is a specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. In a research paper, the methodology section allows the reader to critically evaluate a study's overall validity and reliability. There are various kinds of research methods, experiments, surveys, questionnaires, interviews, case studies, and so on. So the most important methodological choice researcher makes is based on the distinction between qualitative and quantitative data also. So these are the various aspects which I think this workshop will enlighten all the new researchers. We have quite an array of esteemed resource person in this workshop who will be helping the new researchers and or also the aspiring students to this different methods of research. And I would like to welcome all of them to this workshop. And I also hope that this workshop will be a great success, more of a success, because we have two very big stalwarts from the University of Calcutta with us, supporting us throughout our way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This workshop is going on with a collaboration with IQAC University of Calcutta, and we are really fortunate to have with us Dr. Professor J.K. Dash, Director IQAC University of Calcutta. May I now request to you, sir, please say us a few words.
Good morning. First of all, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. First of all, good morning to all of you, and respected Ruma Bhattacharya, Madam Sir, Principal of the college, our Vice Chancellor, Academic Sir, Professor Ashish Chattopadhyay Sir, and in fact, when Madam was thanking me regarding this collaboration program, but I am in other way, I am privileged in some way, because the IQAC has some task to collaborate with different colleges, different organizations for the awareness of this program. So research methodology is such a topic. Not only it will facilitate the researchers to know about the research, but this IQAC activities, that means nowadays this ranking as well as the NAC other activities, it will be easy for you to understand or easy for you to compile the data of the different type if you go through these type of courses. So it has a major or direct contribution to the IQAC also. I'm not saying that it is only for your research. So the activity of IQAC is really also a great research basically. Now just within few minutes, I'll try to explain the basic concept. Madam already explained about the main objective of this research methodology coursework. So I'm really privileged as well as honored that I'm part of the system. Probably I'm also invited for one of the session of this course for the quantitative techniques, about the quantitative techniques. But let me just quickly brief the what is the objective of the course once again, because ultimately the research methodology, it's a scientific method of pursuing a research where a student or a researcher or whoever may be on the path, they will be knowing from the zero level. That means if they have no idea about the research, they will be having a complete idea about the research, or even more specifically, will be concentrating on the data handling part, empirical part of the research. So they will be having the clear idea about the research. Now, to pursue this research, what will be the different steps of the research? Here, the major steps will be, as per my perception, there will be 5 different steps. The first step is how to formulate the problem. That means if you do not have any idea about the research, then how to formulate a big, rather say broad problem. Because whenever a researcher comes to us for any sort of research, it can be for MPhil, it can be for PhD, it can be for any master's level dissertation and so on. So the first thing is that what is the topic? Why should I suggest a topic at all? Because the student should develop themselves, or the researchers should develop in such a fashion that they can develop the topic of their own. That's why the first phase, there are 5 pages. Let me just quickly name the phases. First page is the problem formulation. Second page will be the research designing. Third page will be the data source and data collection. Fourth page will be the data coding as well as data analysis. And fifth phase is the report writing. So you see that these 5 phases starts from the zero level. If you do not have any idea about the research, you can have maybe that your background is from any humanities or social science or something like that. Not necessarily the researcher should come from always a science or from statistics background. So whatever the background you are having, these type of books or these type of courses will give you such an exposure where these 5 pages are divided into, in some books maybe the 20 chapters, in some books it will be 30 chapters, in some books it will be 15 chapters and so on. But broadly, these are the content of the overall research methodology. Now, quickly just I am briefing all these steps basically. The problem formulation means when a researcher is coming to a research area, He needs to go through the literature review. He needs to go through the overall different type of researches so that he can develop the problem of his own. So there are several techniques or there are several issues one should keep in the mind when you will be going through the research methodology. I'm sorry, the literature review. The literature review, literature writing is also a special type of scientific style. So whatever the way you are writing the references, it is not allowed in the research. So all these are scientific method. What is the objective of this scientific method? Because whoever may be the researcher, if you come to a conclusion, if you come to a research outcomes or research findings, it will be almost similar to all of the researchers. That's the basic objective. Because if it is subjective research, then for everyone, even in the same area, for everyone, the research outcome could be different. But if someone follow the research methodology techniques, tools and techniques, and that's why probably from 2010 onward, MPhil and PhD student, whatever may be their background, they must go through a course like that. So that's the reason that, so the first step is problem formulation, and we are coming to the second phase, which is the research designing, like say scaling techniques, questionnaire design, the different type of experimental design. You must go through these tools and techniques, so that is also planning part. But how to carry out the research, that will make these chapters will, or this area will make you understand very clearly and lucidly, basically. And these two, whatever I have explained till now, they are actually qualitative in nature. Nowhere you will find any strong mathematics over there. Coming to the third phase is the data collection or data sources. You must be knowing the where from you will be getting the data. It can be from primary, it can be from secondary sources, but ultimately data collection method, then your statistical technique starts over here. That means the sampling design. That is, even in the data collection part, you can minimize the error a lot. So you need to go through these tools and technique, what will be the sample size, etc. That will be discussed in the, or rather you will be knowing in the data collection part. So coming to the next phase, which is the data analysis mainly. In fact, there is a small difference between data research methodology and research methods. Research methods are nothing but the tools and techniques which we will be using in the research methodology. So this phase 4 comprises of different type of statistical technique. It can be univariate, it can be multivariate, it can be time series analysis, it can be a lot of tools and techniques. I'm not going into details of this, and there is a lot of application of the statistical packages, etc. All these are coming under the phase 4. So maybe that I'm dividing the entire area into 5 phases, but phase 4 consisting of 80% of the total role. So that is very, very important phase. So most of the discussion, I feel, excepting one or two, most of the discussion in this course will be on this phase 5. Phase 4. And final phase is, once you prepare all this, how to write a scientific report. That is, what will be the cover page, what will be the basic content, what will be the other activities, chapterization, what will be the appendix, what is the scientific method of writing a research report, and finally presentation also. So all these will be covering in this area. That means just immediately after this meeting, I am actually in a meeting of our PhD committee. It is just going on from 11 o'clock. So exactly the same thing, we just check that whether the students have gone through this sort of scientific methods or not for preparing their reports. So that's all about the research methodology courses, and I am thanking the principal and the other colleagues of the department once again for giving me the opportunity, and our respected sir, that means Pro Vice Chancellor Academic and Professor Ashish Chattopadhyay. He is expert in this area. He will be explaining about the courses more lucidly, more elaboratively, because he has long international exposure on this area. So I hope that the researchers as well as the other colleagues also who are listening to this program, they will be highly benefited with the speech of Professor Ashish Chattopadhyay. He is also my teacher. Thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We are fortunate to have with us Professor Dr. Ashish Kumar Chattopadhyay, a renowned academician and an efficient administrator, who is our Pro Vice Chancellor Academic, University of Calcutta. May I now request Dr. Ashish sir to deliver the keynote address of this program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Devalina. Respected Principal Professor Ruma Bhattacharya, my student and the Honorable Professor Jadab Krishna Das, other faculty members and participants who are present here. So these type of programs, I always like to participate because this is related to research, and the for every academician there is inherently all of us we are involved in research in different forms. It may not be a formal research, but formally informally we are always involved in research to solve real problems, even if it is a administrative problem for solving. The principal also, she knows that for solving some administrative problems also we need some research, because new types of problems are we are facing every day to solve the situation properly, efficiently, so that we get success. So we have to be always research minded, and we have to attack our problems in a proper way. Now, Professor Das has already discussed the different phases of the research methodology, and I also explained him there are say 5 different phases. But what I feel that if you were a PhD student joining a PhD course, then the methodology starts from the selection of your guide, the supervisor, because you have to be careful about this at the beginning. You have to know the the area where your actual interest lies, and you must choose your supervisor properly so that you can get to the actually do the work on that particular line. So you should be careful about this at the beginning, what I suggest. But I think always it is not at your choice, but you should be careful about this. Now, after starting the process of research, initially you have to go to some you need to know some basic techniques, methods by which you have to solve your research problem. And after say, which is called the initial part, that is the your literature survey part, etc., you need to know the basic things where you are interested. Then the actual research starts. So the selection of the problem, the problem choice part, according to me, this is the most important part of your research, the selection of the problem. Because if the problem is wrongly chosen, then the entire research will have no meaning at all. So at the end you will find nothing new there. So you choose the problem properly with the help of your supervisor. You must be very, very careful about this point. Now, after the when you have selected your problem, then you have to think what are the works that have already been done in this area. Without knowing that, if you just try to solve a problem and finally you found that it has been already been solved, then it has no meaning of doing that. So you have to be these days it's very easy. You just search the net and you will find the thousands of such works there. At our time it was very difficult because we have no internet that time. So we have to go through the literature, through the journals, going to the libraries. We have to try to find a proper work that has already been carried out. So now it is quite easy, what I feel. So you must know what are the previous works that has already been done, and then you start your own work. So while starting your own work, you have to decide about the two parts. One part is called the data part, which you have need for your analysis, and the other part is the methods of doing analysis. So these are so The two significant parts are how to collect my relevant data, and the other part is then how to analyze my data properly. So these are the two important streams. So when you go for the data collection part, you should be aware of the fact that what type of analysis you are collecting your data. Because when you will, after collecting the data, the analysis starts, and if at that point you see that we don't have the sufficient data or the relevant data, then we cannot proceed. So you have to be careful. These two things go simultaneously. What should be my analysis, and what type of data I need. So they are very much correlated. So while collecting the data, you should take care of this fact, and you can collect data in different forms. The two significant streams are the design of experiments and the design of sample survey. You may use any one of them. Usually, we do survey to collect data, and this survey, maybe it may be the sources may be primary or secondary. As you know, that is, if you go for your data yourself to the real field, then this is called a primary data, and if you collect your data from collected sources, then that is called the secondary data. Usually it is better to go for a primary data because it will help you to find out some new things inherent in the process. Now, after collecting the data, I think all this the curriculum which will be considered here, they have several different segments of these topics. So the data type, which is a very important part. Data type means there are several types of data. Initially, this may be attribute or a variable. That is, attribute means some characters on which you have data, and variables is some property on which we have numerical values. That is called, they are called, those varies from over a numerical domain. That is called a variable. So it may be attribute or it may be a variable. For attributes, there is a separate stream of analysis where we have say some character, say yes, no, something, the data say male, female, will look like this. So there are, these characters are not numerical, they are called attributes. And how to analyze that part, there is a different stream, and exploratory data analysis has some parts where you can use for analyzing this type of data. And the variables may be of different types also. If it is numeric, then it may be discrete, it may be continuous, it may be some mixtures. So properly you have to choose your method for the analyzing of data. Now, for this analysis, statistics obviously has an important role for this analysis part. But these days, you know that some many new techniques are coming based on the machine learning, based on the, say, artificial intelligence, based on the, say, deep learning. So these techniques, they are parts of data science, which is a topic which is coming up. And our next coming days will be dominated by these data scientists. It is predicted by most of the academicians. Okay, so you have to be careful about it. So nowadays the data is so intense and so huge, and that we can develop a separate science on the basis of data. That's why it is called a data science. We can extract your inherent truths by analyzing the data. For example, suppose you have a piece of page, so one page, and we don't know the author, who is the author, but it is a work of some very famous author. Nowadays, we have archives of the very different famous authors, and related. There is a study related to their stylistic characters they use. So just by comparing that particular page with those archives, it is possible to identify the unknown author. So that is one, you see, the one an example of how one can use the data. So that is the data science, how to reveal the actual author from unknown page. So there are several many such ways out to how you for your particular problem, how you will use your data, how you will analyze it, and then how you will make your inference. So, in brief, statistical analysis has two direction. One is called the exploratory data analysis, and another part is called confirmatory data analysis. Anything which is related to some model based study, that is, initially you assume that the data comes from a particular distribution, maybe a normal distribution, something like this, something model based data, there our analysis is called confirmatory analysis. And if we just look at the data without making any such assumption, say some different graphical techniques like box plot, histogram, say the mosaic, something like this. Initially, these starts, and there are several such options if you go by, where we do not make any assumption regarding the data. That is called the exploratory part with any model. And if we do model-based analysis, that is called confirmatory part, and there you make different statistical tests for the inference. I think many of us we know about some say t-test or say analysis of variance, which are very well-known things, but we don't know about the basic assumptions. In fact, a t-test is valid only when your data comes from a normal distribution. Otherwise, the test is not at all valid. So sometimes we do blindly t-test, but it has no meaning there. So these are some basic points in statistical, some limitations of the statistical analysis. Of course, there are others possibilities using some non-parametric tests, etc., where you can avoid those assumptions. But what I'm telling that while going through the methodology, you try to know about these limitations of the different analysis, and you use them properly. So I hope that this course will help you a lot to know about all these features, so that you can do your research properly. And at the end, I must mention one line from Tagore in his famous song, সে আকাশ ভরা সূর্য তারা বিশ্ব ভরা প্রাণ. There is a line that জানার মাঝে অজানারে করেছি সন্ধান. So this is actually research. You need to know something which is unknown from the known things, from the known facts. So trying to find something new, unknown from known. জানার মাঝে অজানারে করেছি সন্ধান. So I wish you all success with this course, very much success. Go ahead. I am always with you for any type of help. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your valuable time. May I now request?
Devlina, I just want to thank Professor Chatterjee very much, because this was, yeah, I hope all the participants have listened very carefully, because he has given us the crux of the matter for this workshop today. Thank you very much, Professor Chatterjee.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Dr. Sheta Guho, our IQAC coordinator, to propose a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you,
Over to you,
Devlina.
Sheta.
Thank you, Devlina. Good morning. On behalf of IQAC Vijay Krishna Girls College, I take the privilege to propose vote of thanks on the inaugural session of a week-long workshop on research methodology organized by R&D Cell Vijay Krishna Girls College in collaboration with IQAC University of Calcutta. We are thankful to Dr. Professor Ashish Kumar Chattopadhyay, Pro Vice Chancellor Academic, University of Calcutta, for his keynote address. Especially our research scholars, he has explained from choosing problems to solving them. Thank you, sir, for your very informative speech. We are thankful to Professor Jadav Krishna Das, former HOD, Department of Commerce, and IQAC Director, University of Calcutta. He also explained the different steps of research methodology. Thank you, sir, for your very informative speech. We are thankful to our principal madam, Dr. Ruma Bhattacharya, for her encouragement and guidance. And I appreciate the hard work of all members of R&D cell of our college and our conveners too. And I thank all the participants, dignitaries, and students for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, and I wish you all the success. Thank you.
Thank you, Shetadi. So, this is the end of our first session of today, and we will proceed to our second session. Now, I'm requesting Dr. Papia Ghoshdi to conduct the second session of this program. Over to you, Papia Di.
Thank you, Debulina. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Good morning to everybody. I would like to take the opportunity really to introduce Dr. Gautam, speaker of this particular session. Dr. Bandyopadhyay is the Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, NIT Durgapur. He has done his BSc in Statistics and in graduation in Operation Research. And he has also done Master of Science in Mathematics. Sir, I do welcome you in this program. Sir has done his PhD from Jadavpur University. Now, I would like to say a few words about his research interest. His research interests include portfolio optimization, application of DEA in tourism, destination marketing, application of DEA for evaluating performance in banking sector. It also includes application of optimization technique in business, application of statistical softwares in marketing and human resource management. His research area also includes financial market data analysis using soft computing techniques. Sir has a lot of publication, both books and journals. His remarkable books includes Business and Information Management. Another one is Adopting E-Governance. It's a book chapter. Another one is Optical Portfolio Selection with Skewness and Kurtosis, a fuzzy multi-objective programming. The last one includes recovery of two-process deadlock using payoff matrix approach with Shalini Gupta et al. Sir has published a lot of journals, definitely in different national and international journals. We are really privileged to have you, sir, in our technical session. Now it's over to you, sir.
My voice is audible to all of you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, before starting, I like to thank to you, ma'am, and respected principal, ma'am, Professor Ruma Bhattacharya, and my teacher just has given a nice present keynote speaking, Professor Ashish Kumar Chattopadhyay. So really, it's my really privilege for me. So you have given me the opportunity to share some concept on research methodology, and as also respected Professor Jadhav Krishna Das for his nice introduction of the research methodology part. So basically, and all the teachers of the colleges and all the participants. So basically today I'll take some basic concept on research and using some methodology part, basics, and using some basic statistics. Okay. And tomorrow I'll give the concept of SPSS and JAMOVI packages. Okay. And one thing I like to say, if you have any query about any kind of research or any kind of question, so definitely we can interact. Okay, interact. And today I don't know how much time I can get. So can you tell me? Hello.
Sir, you can continue for 45 minutes to 1 hour, sir.
1 hour. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So I can continue. So better I can take the class up to 1 p.m. maximum. No? Maximum. Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 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 Hello.
Sir, you are audible.
I like to present something, but present now is not working.
এবার শোন না, বলছি কি যদি কেউ কোনো প্রশ্ন না করে কি করব?
Hello. So I like to present my some.
মানে কে বোঝে সে
that is
অন্তত
not-
বানিয়ে দুটো প্রশ্ন তো দিতে হবে।
Hello.
কিসের উপর?
Hello. My voice is audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But, actually, present now screen was not activating. And now it is okay. Now it is okay. Now it is coming. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, the
Okay,
screen
okay.
is
Now I understand.
the screen is visible, sir. The screen is visible.
Okay, okay.
It is visible, sir, visible.
Thank you.
It is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Actually, before starting, I like to say something on research methodology part. And then I got to go to the different methods on, the quantitative research. So basically, the definition of research depending on three parts. One is the philosophy, another part is the validity and reliability. Another thing is the unbiased and objective. I will not go for detail. Question is why? Because I will give my PPT to all of you after my lectures. Okay. So everything is written here. So I will explain that thing, which is basically to some extent mathematical or statistical part. That part I will explain. And this is these are the three parts of this philosophy validity. And next is what is philosophy means approaches. So there are two types of research. One is the qualitative and the quantitative, and the academic discipline in which you have been trained. So this is what is the validity and reliability. So validity means that correct the procedures have been applied to find answer to a question. Okay, and reliability refers to the quality of a measurement procedure that provides the repeatability and accuracy. This validity and reliability is very much important when you go for the qualitative research. Okay. And naturally, and if you go for the secondary research, so validity of the model is very important. So already Professor Ashish Kumar Chakraborty nicely explained the two parts, that is the exploratory part and the conformity part. So naturally, when you go for some model based on some statistical assumption, so you have to validate the model. Okay, so that's why this validity is very, very important for any kind of research. And this is unbiased and objective. Unbiased and objective means that we have taken each step in an unbiased manner and drawn each conclusion to the best of your ability and without introducing your own vested interest. This is very, very important part. That is the unbiased and objective. Okay. So this is, the research is a structured inquiry that utilizes the acceptable scientific methodology to solve problems and create new knowledge that is generally applicable. Okay. So, and also, the characteristics of research. There is a control, rigorous, systematic, valid, and verifiable, empirical, and critical. This part, everyone. Okay, the basic part. I'm explaining this part. And this is the types of research. Research can be classified from the three perspectives. There's the application of research study, the objective in undertaking the research, and inquiry mode employed from the process adopted to find answer to the research questions. So that is the very interesting part. There are two types of approaches. For the one is the structured approach, another is the unstructured approach. And these are the already Professor Jadhav Krishna Das discussed. This what are the steps in research? I will not go in detail. So these are the 8 steps basically for the step research process. So that is given. I will give you, that is a research problem, literature. You know it very well. Okay. So mainly in the today's lecture, today and tomorrow, I'll discuss about the research methods mainly. Research method using some softwares like SPSS and Jamovi with the different some small case study. Okay. And the types of this part I will explain in detail. There is a types of measurement scales because there's a nominal, ordinal. I will discuss again later on. Okay. And this is the nominal scale. I will explain the ordinal scale. This is the interval scale, ratio scale, and function of hypothesis. This is very, very important part for any kind of research, hypothesis part. And preparing the research design. So already explained by both of the professors, Professor Ashish Kumar Chattopadhyay and Professor Jadav Krishnadas. Research design is very, very important part for as well as the qualitative as well as the quantitative. Okay. So objective of the research study, already you know there are two types of data. One is the primary as well as the secondary. Primary data means, you know, the collected for the first time. And secondary data, those which have already been collected and analyzed by the someone else. Okay. Now, I'm not going in detail part because today actually I'll explain the quantitative part and basically survey method. These are basically used for the qualitative research. Okay. And this is definitely for any kind of method, there's some advantage and some limitation also. Next part is the contact method. This is useful for the qualitative research when you go for a primary data collection, one of the method. And naturally, now this is the online mode. You can collect the data from the Google form. That is also the contact method. Okay. And sampling techniques. This is very, very important. There are different types of sampling techniques. So, okay. Guidelines to construct the research tools. What are the tools for conducting a research? There are different types of steps. I'm not going in detail. I'll give my PPT to you, all of you. And this is a questionnaire design. This is basically for the primary data. I'm not going this part. Okay. And now today actually I'll explain data analysis methods on the quantitative part. So this is a basic statistics part. Today I'll start. Okay. So before starting this concept, I like to say okay. First of all, you tell me it is visible to all of you this screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
So actually, first of all, we have to know for any kind. We know for any kind of analysis when you collection of data, collect the data from your domain or domain, then we need some analysis that is called statistical analysis. Okay. And after analysis, we go for the different types of interpretation. Definitely interpretation from your domain. So if we, so naturally, first of all, you have to know what is the meaning of statistics. So statistics, basically in statistics, this is that there are four words are very important. One word is the population, another word is the parameter, another word is the sample, another is the statistic. So statistic. So these are the four words are very important. Population, parameter, sample, statistics. So naturally, you can tell me just what is the meaning of it. So population is a very big term, very big term. And naturally, it is not possible to estimate full population due to the time. And since time is a constant, so cost also a constant. Because if we increase the time, for the data collection, if the time is more, so automatically cost will increase. When cost is increased. And when the cost is increased, automatically profit of the organization will decrease. Okay. So the question is why? Because cost is a function of time. Cost is a function of time. Because time increase, cost increase, automatically profits decrease. So for this thing, to minimize cost and to minimize time, so definitely we need welcome statistics. And statistics basically based on some sample that is called some data. And these data will coming from some population, actually from your domain interest. Okay. Now, so these are, now I'm coming to this part. Okay. So capital, what do you mean by population? Say capital N is the population size, and which is a very large. And you take small n, there is a sample size. So obviously small n is highly less than equal to capital N. Okay. That means sample is nothing but the proportion of population. So this is the first means size. There is one is the size. So naturally, you know, the sample size is very, very important in any kind of research. Another thing is, now what is the meaning of parameter? So parameter basically all the characteristics. So now characteristics means, what is that characteristic means? Suppose when you apply statistics, don't go for the individual, you go for aggregate. So that's why when you go for aggregate, so aggregate basically we consider the average. This is a very interesting type average. Okay. So that means average is one of the characteristics of population. And similarly, so naturally, the now question is, another is characteristic is the standard deviation. Another characteristic is skewness, kurtosis. So there are so many characteristics, correlation, regression. So I will come later on. So, so these are the characteristics of the population. And when we go for population mean, say characteristics is the mean, so naturally since the population size is very large, it is not possible to cover the all population members. So we go for some samples observations. So on the basis of sample observation N, so again we can calculate some, you know, the statistic that is called average on the basis of sample size small n. So that's why it is called sample statistics. So statistic also one characteristic of the sample. Parameter is the characteristic of the population. So these are the four important words of, you know, the research. So how to estimate the population parameters on the basis of sample statistic. Okay. Now coming to the part, the concept of data. So I'm coming, say why. Say I'm giving a very interesting example. Why we need average? Why you need average? So for already we know in case of statistics there is a chapter that is called measures of central tendency, and the measures of central tendency, they are the measures are mean, median, mode, and so on. So my question is, in the research, how we apply, you know, this central measures. So better we go for some example, then we can understand why we need skewness, why we need standard deviation, and then we'll start our study the concept from the univariate to bivariate, then go for the multivariate. So today only we'll explain the concept of univariate and bivariate, and naturally tomorrow I'll show some application on multivariate. Okay. So say I have some data, say 20, then 30, 40, 50, and 60. So these are the only 5 data set. Only 5. So I have the sample size is 5. Okay. So naturally, if we calculate the mean, there is X bar, so that you get 40. If we calculate median, that also we get 40. Question is why? We know median means when the observations are arranged according to the increasing or decreasing order of magnitude, the middlemost term is called the median. So 40 is the median. So this is the example where the mean equal to 40 and median equal to 40. Now I given another set of, this is called set 1. And now I'm giving the another set, that is the set 2. Say 20, 35, 40, and 45, and 60. This is another set of observations, 5 set of observations. And if you check this set 2, again the mean equal to 40. Mean equal to 40. And if you calculate the median also 40. Median equal to 40. So obvious, the question is, median also 40. So obvious the question is, the both set 1 and set 2 are same. Both, we can say, if both the set 1 and set 2 are consistent, definitely the answer is no. So how we measure the consistency of the data set? This is the next question. So since the number of samples are very less, so we can check by manual observations. By observation, we can check which set is the consistent. Question is how? Say, here the mean is 40 and median is 40. In the set 2, mean is 40, median is 40. But if you check, in the set 1, the neighboring observations of mean, one is the 30 and 50. Neighboring observation. 40 is the mean, neighboring observation is 30 and 50. Okay, that means that is called the scatteredness. Okay, so how much dispersed from the mean in the set 1. So there's a 30 and 40, the difference is minus 10, here difference is plus 10. In the set 2, mean is 40 and difference is minus 5, that is the 35, and difference plus 5. So naturally, in the set 2, the data set is less scattered than set 1 with respect to the mean. So we can say, with the manual observation, the set 2 is the more consistent. Because error, if we check this, okay, the deviation is less from the mean. Now, but if the number of samples are, more, say 100, 150, so it's not possible by manual observation. So we need some characteristics. So what is the characteristic? Next characteristic is called standard deviation. Okay, so that's why we need the standard deviation. And these mean and standard deviation are very, very important measures in the data analysis, mean and standard deviation initially. Now, I come to the next part. So 20, 30, 40, and 50, and 60. So these are the 5 observations. So one thing I can do, if I add 10 and 200, so automatically the number of observations are 7. 7. Okay, and so what is the problem we'll face? We face the problem when the number of observations are 7, median is 40. Median is 40. Okay, but the mean is changed. What is the mean? Naturally, in the mean is initially mean is the total observation is the sum of the total observations of 410 by 7. Naturally, mean is greater than 40. So near to 50, 58 point something. Okay, so this is the mean. So that means what conclusion we can derive, that is a mean depending on the extremes. Depending on the extremes, but median is not depending on the extreme if it is less than 50%. Okay. So now there is a very interesting topic when you go for the research. So that is the one term will be coming, that's called the outlier. Okay. So today, after some time, I'll show some case study on outlier. Why outlier? For suppose if you want to fit a model, but the model is not coming properly. Question is why? Then you have to check the outliers are present or not. Outlier means there are some extreme good value and extreme bad value. And if we work on some share market data, okay, so definitely the share market, there are so many variations in the data set. Okay, so many variations, and that's why there are so many outliers will occur. There are some good values and there are some bad values. So automatically, for the share market, you cannot derive a particular good model. So that's why outlier extraction is very, very important. So when you start your research, so you go for the data learning technique. Okay. So I'll come later on this part. Okay. Now, so after this, we go for, so we know mean and standard deviation. So today I'll not discuss about skewness kurtosis. That part I'll discuss tomorrow. So with the mean and standard deviation, how much we can go. So mean, say population mean, say mean, and population standard deviation is sigma. So what is the meaning? This mu based on capital N observations, sigma based on capital N observation. This is the population. But mu is not known because, and sigma is not known initially. So then we have to estimate this mu with the help of X bar. This is called sample mean, which is based on sample size N. Okay. And sigma we can estimate by S. There is a sample standard deviation based on N. Okay. So now I'm going for, this is basically the univariate. Univariate we calculate only mean and standard deviation. Today I'll not give the concept of skewness kurtosis. Tomorrow I'll give the concept of skewness kurtosis. And now today what I will do that, so when you get the mean and standard deviation, so can we go for the bivariate concepts? Because for our research, mainly we need some bivariate and multivariate data. So and when you go for analysis of bivariate and multivariate, we have to know what is the univariate analysis. And univariate analysis, what is the mean of the variable, what is the standard deviation of the variable. Then we go for the bivariate data. Okay. Now, so now I'm coming to this part about the bivariate data. Just wait. First of all, you tell me it is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we go for some bivariate data. Actually, already I told you that is the statistics means, you know, just 1 minute. Okay. So already you know the statistics means the population parameter sample statistic. So I'm telling before going for bivariate data, say when there is a single variable, like say age, single variable, say income, single variable. Okay. So for single variable, we can find the mean, standard deviation, other measures also. Similarly, for income also, you can find mean and standard deviation. Now we come to the point, how we connect the bivariate. Bivariate means when there are two variables. Say, selling price, I'm giving some example, then I hope you can understand. Selling price of any house, selling price of any house, depending on, you know, the size of the house. That is obvious. Selling price of the house depending on the size of the house. So that means there is a relationship between selling price with the size of the house. So when there are more than one variable, so try to find from your domain which is the dependent and which is the independent. So for this example, easily you can understand there is the selling price of the house is the dependent variable and size is the independent variable. So easily we can find some relationship between this selling price and size. And for finding this relationship, we need some measures. So these are called the bivariate measures. And these bivariate measures, we know these are called correlation, covariance, and I will come later on. And this correlation and covariance concept are derived from That is the univariate measures like mean and standard deviation. So that part today I'm trying to show you. Okay. So say so now I like to show you. So capital X is one variable and capital Y is another variable. Say capital X, say size of the house for your understanding, and this is called selling price. So naturally here capital X takes the different values x1, x2, dotted xn. And capital Y also takes the different value y1, y2, dotted yn. Okay. So that means we can say that is X takes the value x1 to xn. Capital Y takes the value y1 to yn. Okay. So obviously from this x1 to xn, that is n observation, easily we can find x bar. Easily we can find standard deviation of x. Okay. Similarly, from y, easily we can find y bar and standard deviation y. Easily we can find. So now, so that means then what the next step is there? What? Next step is when this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So in case of any kind of research, when you go for data analysis, the graphical presentation is very important. So naturally, plot is, because from the plot, you can get some initial guess idea. What is the nature of the data. So now, when you get this X, that means these are the different observations. Different observations along x-axis. And along y-axis, also these are the different observation, y1, y2, yn. Okay. And definitely there are some value x1, y1 is a pair value. Another value is x2, y2. In this way, you get the different types of observations. From x1, x2, xn, we can get the value of mean x bar. And similarly, from y1, y2, yn, we get the value y bar. And since x bar is the average, obviously it lies between the minimum value, that is x1. x1 is the minimum and xn is the maximum. That is x bar always lies between minimum and maximum. Simply y bar also lies between minimum and maximum. So x bar is a point and y bar is a point. So what is the next step? So when you get the value of x bar and when you get the value of y bar, from x bar you can draw easily a vertical line. And from y bar also you can draw a horizontal line. So naturally, when you draw a horizontal, vertical and horizontal line, it intersects. Intersects at some point. This intersect point is called x bar, y bar. obviously. And here the origin, when you start, that is called 0, 0. This concept is very interesting for any kind of research. This is the concept is called the perceptual map. How do you perceive the concept of data? Say, and then just to check, here this of the observation xi greater than x bar. Here the observation xi less than x bar. Similarly, here the observation yi less than y bar. Here the observation yi greater than y bar. So there are 4 portions we get. So in case of our class 9-10 geometry, is called coordinate geometry, it is called the 4 quadrant. This is called the first quadrant. This is called the second quadrant. This is called the third quadrant. And this is called the fourth quadrant. So what is the meaning of first quadrant? First quadrant meaning is where xi minus x bar greater than 0 and yi minus y bar greater than 0. This is the first quadrant. So what is the second quadrant? Second quadrant is xi minus x bar less than 0 and yi minus y bar greater than 0. And what is the meaning of third quadrant? Third quadrant is xy minus x bar less than 0 and yi minus y bar less than 0. What is the meaning of fourth quadrant? Now xi minus x bar greater than 0 and yi minus y bar less than 0. So this is the very interesting. So greater than 0 means this is called the positive association. Greater than into greater than greater than. Okay. And greater than less than into greater less than into less than, both are less than. This is also positive association. Here greater than into less than, that is the negative association. Here the greater than into less than, that is also negative association. So that means first and third quadrant gives a positive association and second and fourth quadrant gives a negative association. So that you know, that is the concept of scatter diagram. Okay. And from this diagram, easily we can derive the formula of covariance. Okay. So now I'm going to the next page. Say, so that is xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. So in case of statistics, we will take the summation, that is the several observations, and taking divided by, say, number of total observation. So it is nothing but the curve of xy. So naturally we can say the definition of curve of xy in some different way. The curve of xy is nothing but the transformation from xy plane to x minus x bar into y minus y bar plane. So what is the meaning? In case of xy plane, the origin is 0, 0. Origin is 0, 0. In this plane, the origin is x bar and y bar. Okay. So covariance is nothing but the transformation from xy plane to the x minus x bar into y minus y bar plane. Okay. So what is the advantage? That means only we know the mean of x and mean of y, we get the formula of curve of xy. And through curve of xy is nothing but the association between x and y. And this association may be the positive association, maybe the negative association, maybe the zero association. How? If the curve of xy is greater than 0, that means the positive association between x and y. If curve of xy is less than 0, that is the negative association between x and y. And if equal to 0, There is no association between X and Y. Okay. Now, say then we can write there is the curve of xy. We can write the formula right, x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Okay. But what's the problem of this? So when you write this formula, so obviously you get some value. We get some value. And this value may be positive. This value may be negative. That's why we can say curve of xy lies between minus infinity to plus infinity. There is it takes a total real line because x and y takes the real values. So when curve of xy takes these values, it's a very large value because minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, and another problem is this that when x we take the two variable x and when to the variable y, suppose here we are taking x equal to size of the house and y taking the selling price of the house. And we know the selling price of the house in the rupees and size is the square feet. Size of the house is the square feet. So that means x having one unit, y having another unit. So two units are different. So when you take the value of curve of xy, so obviously it is the product of two units, that is square feet, rupees into square feet. Naturally, units are different. So in any kind of analysis, the objective is how to get the unit-free measures. And not only unit-free measures, how to get a very small measures which will help for our interpretation. And so for this, we need to go for the other measures that is called correlation. Correlation coefficient. So correlation coefficient, again I am telling you, population correlation is denoted by rho and sample correlation is denoted by R. Okay. So this is R because R means based on sample. R is equal to curve of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. So that means already I told you, today only we will study only mean and standard deviation. And we know the formula of Sx, that is equal to square root of 1 by n summation of xi minus x bar whole square. And if we take the unbiasedness, so naturally Sx equal to 1 by n minus 1. Similarly, Sy is equal to square root of 1 by n minus 1 summation of yi minus y bar whole square. Okay. So this is called the Sx standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. So what the advantage we will get if we write the formula like this way? Because first of all, it is a unit free. Because curve of xy means unit of x, unit of y. I am giving an example, then you can easily understand. Say x unit is centimeter, suppose. Then x bar also centimeter unit. Then Sx also centimeter. Okay. Say y, say gram, say. So y bar also gram and Sy also gram. So obviously in the numerator, in the upper part, so what is the unit? The centimeter gram. And the denominator unit is centimeter as well as gram. So unit will be cancelled. So that's why correlation is a unit-free measures. Okay. Correlation is a unit-free measures. Okay. Now, another advantage we'll get that from correlation. A correlation lies between -1 to +1. correlation lies between -1 to +1, where curve of xy lies between -infinity to +infinity. So this is the advantage. So when R lies between -1 to +1, naturally when you solve your problem using any software, okay, so then you get some value of R. So your part is how to interpret the result. Okay. So that's why for the interpretation, you divide this line -1 to +1 into 7 parts. This is a very important. You just divide. -1, -0.5, 0, 0.5, +1. And so you have to know that what is the meaning of -1. And naturally, for your research, some value may come between -1 to -0.5. Then how you interpret? So this is very much important for research. So if R equal to -1, that means it is a perfectly negative correlation. That is called PNC. Perfectly negative correlation. So what is the meaning of perfectly negative correlation? I am giving a simple example. I hope then you can understand. Say x plus y is a linear association, x plus y equal to 100. Say, so naturally then y is equal to 100 minus x. Here, if we increase x, y is the dependent on x. And if we take x equal to 1, y equal to 99. Now, if we go for increasing x, 1, 2, 3, y decreasing with the same unit. So that means x increases by some unit, y decreases by that same unit. So that's why it is called perfectly negative correlation. Okay. And if the R lies between here, so this is called highly negative correlation. If R lies between this portion, that is -0.5 to 0, this is called moderately negative correlation. And if R equal to 0, that is called zero correlation. And if R lies between 0 to 0.5, this portion, this is called, moderately positive correlation. And if R lies between 0.5 to 1, this is called highly positive correlation. And if R equal to 1, that is called perfectly positive correlation. So these are very important points. Okay. So from here, when you get R, so then say R equal to, you get say 0.8. And for some problem, you get R equal to -0.8. That means one is highly positive correlation, and this value is highly negative correlation. Okay. So definitely that you can interpret. But from two things, we can interpret only one thing, that is if we make it R square. And if we get R square, for both the case, we get 0.64. 0.64. So this is important, this is also important, this is important, this is also important. Okay. So what is the meaning of R square 0.64? So this is important for any research. So what is the meaning? I am telling you very simple way. Say if we have the two variable y and x. Today I am discussing about only the bivariate case, y and x. So y having some value and x having some value. And from this y and x, we calculate the value of r. There is the relation between y and x. And we get the value is 0.8. And after making square, we get 0.64. So naturally, for our part, we need the analysis, interpretation. After getting r square 0.64, what do we write for our research? So because for your domain, y represents some variable, x represents some variable. So then you have to write that is the 64% of the variation in dependent variable can be explained by one independent variable. If it is one or it is more than this, that is multivariate case. So this is very, very important, R square. Okay. This is the basic part. Next, I'm coming after getting this. So when you go for, using some softwares. So in case of software, it looks like a basically Excel sheet. Okay. So naturally, in software, so these are some rows and columns. So R1, R2, these are the rows. And this is the column 1, column 2, column 3, the columns. The question is, what does a row represent? What is the representation of rows and what is the representation of the columns? This is the question. Row represents basically respondent answers. And column represents the variables. So for the example, I have taken two variables as selling price and size. So these are the variable. And this is the house number 1, house number 2, house number, and so on. So row are called the number of houses. House number. House number 1 selling price size is given. So that these are the values. So this is the value. This is the cell values for the house number 1 and selling price. This is the values for the house number 1 and the size. Okay. In this way, so many of these are called observations. So in this way, that is called the number of sample size. We can take 100, 1000, anything else. Okay. So, and naturally, when you get this, so it is called the matrix format. This is called the matrix format. And any kind of matrix composed of some row and column. So now I will discuss about the matrix concept with the correlation and covariance. Say, first of all, we'll explain the covariance concept. Covariance concept. So in the covariance, say there are 4 variables. I'm discussing about 4 variables, then automatically you can understand. There are 4 variables, say x1, x2, x3, x4. Okay. So what you get from x1, easily we can calculate the variance of x1. Variance of x1 is nothing but the square of standard deviation. From x2, easily we can calculate variance of x2. From x3, variance of x3. From x4, variance of x4. Easily we can calculate. Okay. Now, after calculating this, what is our objective? What is the relationship between x1, x2? What is the relationship between x1, x3? What is the relationship between x1, x4? So for finding this relationship, so first of all, okay, I'm telling you, suppose there are 2 variables x1, x2. So how many relation? Only 1 relation, because x1, x2. And this relation between x1 and x2 is same as the relation between x2 and x1. This is very important. The relation between x1 and x2 is the same as the relation between x2 and x1. So that's why it is called the symmetric relation. Symmetric relation. Okay. So when there are 2 variables, so there is a one relation. One is x1, x2, because it is same as x2, x1. Okay. When there are 3 variables, x1, x2, x3, so how many relation we can develop? We can develop one relation is the self relation. Self means the relation with x1, x1. Self means relation with the x2, x2. Self means relation with the x3, x3. Okay, self relation. Another relation is the x1, x2. One relation. Another relation is x1, x3. And another relation is x2, x3. Okay. And naturally, x1, x2 means x2, x1. These are the same. These are the same. X1, X3 means X3, X1. These are also same. And X2, X3 means X3, X2. These are also same. So we can get the three relationship. Okay. Now, for understanding this concept of covariance or correlation matrix, we have to know the little bit idea about combination. So, if you don't mind, so I'm giving some concept of combination in a simple way, because combination is very much useful, not only for correlation regression, it is applicable for the conformity factor analysis, so many conformity analysis. Not only that is applicable for probability, basically probability maximum part based on combination, and your sampling part based on combination mainly, and also permutation you need some cases. Okay, so I'll try to give some concept about combination. Then I think you can understand. Say, can take some example for understanding. Say there are, say, 4 students, ABCD. There are 4 students, and we have 2 cinema tickets. It's a well-known example, cinema tickets. So obviously, with the 2 tickets, any 2 student can go. So what are the possibility? AB can go, AC can go, AD can go, BC can go, BD can go, and CD can go. These are the 2 possibilities. And naturally, when you go to the cinema hall, so that is the screen of the cinema, and this is the seating arrangement, different seating arrangement. In case of seating arrangement, AB can sit, also BA can sit. So AB can change to BA. AC can change. Hello. AC can change to CA. This is DA. This is CB. This is DB. This is DC. So just to check, this is the any arrangement. This is another arrangement, and these are called all arrangement. So when you consider any kind of arrangement, like the first one or second one, that is called combination. That is called combination. And when you that means in this both the AB same as BA, AC is same as CA, AD is same as BA, BC same as CB, and when these are all same, this is called combination. And when AB and B are different, that is called the permutation. Okay. So this is the difference between combination and permutation. I'm not going in detail. Okay. So just to check, when there are 4 boys, students, and 2 cinema tickets, so number of boys are 4C2, that is equal to 6. Number of boys, that is the 6. Okay. So now I'm giving the general formula of combination, that is called NCR, that is called n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial. Then we know n factorial means n into n minus 1 dot dot 1. So for our example, we calculated 4C2. 4C2 because out of 4 students, there are 2 cinema tickets. So what is the formula? 4 factorial by 2 factorial and 2 factorial. So 4 factorial means 24. 2 into 2, and that is 6. So there are 6 ways. Okay. So when you know the concept of combination, so easily we can construct, the covariance matrix as well as the correlation matrix. So now, how we get the covariance matrix? Covariance matrix. Say there are 4 variables, x1, x2, x3, x4. there are 4 variables x1, x2, x3, x4. Okay. So first of all, x1, that is called variance of x1. Self, x1, x2, that is called C1, 2, covariance between x1, x2. This is C1. This is C21. These are same. This is the variance of x2. This is C23, C24, C31, C32, variance of x3, C34. This is a C41, C42, C43, and variance of x1. Just you think, diagonals are called the variance, and off diagonals are called the covariances. Not only that, these 4 variables, above diagonals and below diagonals, how many elements? 6. That is the 4C2. 4C2, because this is also 6. This is also 6. So these are coming from concept of combination. Okay. And these 4 all are symmetric. So naturally, this is very, very important when you go for, conformity analysis, the structural equation modeling. So this part is very important. So in case of, I'm showing you one thing, just try to understand. Say when number of variables is equal to 4, then you have to compute 4 variances. 4 variances and 4C2, that is 6 covariances. So in total, you have to compute 4 plus 6, that is 10. So naturally, if we apply the formula, when the number of variables equal to 4, how many moments? Better to say moments, that is variance is one moment, covariance is one measures. Okay. Variance is the univariate measures and covariance is the bivariate measures. So better to say how many univariate and bivariate measures to be computed in case of the covariance matrix. Okay. So there is some very interesting general formula. That when the number of variables are 4, how many univariate measures and there is variance and how many covariance to be computed, simple formula is 5C2. So 5C2, if you compute, you get 10. Okay. So naturally, if there are number of variables of n, how many variances and covariance you have to compute? The simple formula n plus 1C2. This is a generalization. Okay. N can take any value, integer, positive. So now we'll go to the correlation part. Say, so correlation, already we know is derived from covariance. Say, see how we derive R12. R12 means correlation between x1, x2. Correlation between x1, x2. So this is nothing but C12 by S1, S2. What is C12? Now covariance between x1, x2. What is S1? Now standard deviation of x1. What is S2? Now standard deviation of x2. So this is R12. Similarly R13. Similarly R23. And this way you can compute. Okay. Now how we get the correlation matrix? So correlation matrix is nothing but there are 4 variables. 1, R12, R13, R14, R21, 1, R23, R24, R31, R32, 1, R34, R41, R42, R43, and 1. So this is the correlation, and 4 by 4 because there are 4 variables. The one advantage you get in case of correlation matrix, because you have all diagonals are 1. And in case of covariance matrix, all diagonals are the variances. So if there are 4 variables, so how many correlation you have to compute? That is a bivariate measure. How many correlation you have to compute? That is called 4C2. That is equal to 6. So that is the advantage. So that is you have to compute less, less measures than covariance. And naturally, if there are n variables, you have to compute NC2 correlations. Okay. So this is the relationship between covariance and correlation. Now, I'm coming to this part. In the correlation, there are different types of correlation. One is the simple correlation. One is the multiple correlation. Okay. One is the partial correlation. One is the semi-partial correlation or part correlation, semi-partial correlation. Okay, so these are different types of another correlation. Actually, already Professor Jadhav Krishna Das discussed. When you go for research, so there is some different types of. One is the cross-sectional research. One is the longitudinal research. Another is the panel research. So that means one is the independent of time research. Another is the dependent of time. So that is when you go for independent of time, the time is not related. So then we have to compute. This is a simple, multiple, partial, and semi-partial correlation for our analysis. And another is the canonical correlation. So these are for the cross-sectional data set. But when you go for some time series data set, so another thing you have to compute, that is called autocorrelation, serial correlation. So these are the things. So naturally, for today's discussion, we will not cover the time series. So we'll discuss tomorrow actually basically the regression part in detail, and using the software SPSS. Okay. So, hello.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Up to this, any query actually, any query, then I'll. And if you are you feeling bored? You tell me.
Not at all, sir.
No,
Not at all.
sir. Nobody is feeling bothered. I think you are explaining in such a wonderful way by the so-called chalk and talk, not by simple PowerPoint. So there is no scope of getting bothered.
Okay, thank you. Actually, today now I'll show some introduction part of SPSS. The question is why? Because the time is very short. Because tomorrow I'll get only maximum 2 hours time. So actually,
Sir,
tell me. When if
sir,
you are
excuse me, you can continue up to 1, sir.
Okay, then I can continue up to 1. So
yes,
then
sir,
I will get the 20 minutes time. 20 minutes time. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So now I'm showing the introduction of SPSS part, and tomorrow I'll start in detail. Okay. Thank you. Twenty minutes. 20 minutes. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So SPSS is basically acronym for a statistical package for social science. And it supports different types of operating system like Macintosh, Windows, as well as Linux. Okay, so it is a very interesting feature, that is the import as well as export. I am telling you what is the meaning of these. That means maximum we are well known with the Excel sheet. So you collect your data as the secondary as well as the primary in the Excel sheet. Okay. And from export, after collecting the data, you need some data analysis using some statistical software. And then you have to import the data from Excel to SPSS or R, anywhere, in Jamovi, anywhere you can export this, okay, import this. So this is a very important feature, import. And what is the meaning of export? Say you start your analysis in SPSS. And after analysis, you get some output. So obviously for your research, you need some output as a customized format, not in the SPSS format. So when you need some output is a customized format, so you have to export your output from SPSS either in Word file or in Excel file. Okay, this is the very interesting feature of import as well as export. Okay. Next part is SPSS has a not only SPSS. When you apply some any kind of software, this is very important part, that how many what is the step 1, what is the step 2, what is the step 3, what is the step 4, and what is the step 5. So these are the 5 steps. Okay. Now I will explain using simple example, then you can understand. The first step is after opening SPSS for Windows and opening the data editor. Data editor means Excel sheet. So first part is the variable view. How many variables you have to enter for your analysis, and definitely the number of variables you get in this idea from your research, from your domain. Okay, so that's why it's the first the variable. Second part is after defining the variable view, go to the data view. Third part is your analysis, that is the output view. That is called the statistical analysis. This is the third part. So today, actually, I will explain the first part, second part, and third part. I will take a short time, and tomorrow I will explain in detail. Okay. So for this explaining variable view, data view, and output view, we can. I will take some example, and then you can easily understand. Say, so this is the SPSS file. Okay. SPSS file. Suppose we start with a new file. We get, this is the new file. This is the data editor, and it looks like Excel sheet. And just to check, there are a different number of rows and different number of columns. Okay, and in this here it is given data view and variable view. Data view and variable view. Say, for your understanding, we can consider a very simple example. They say in a class there are 15 students. Okay, and 15 students for their identification there is a separate roll number. So roll number 1 to 15, and 15 students have given the examinations in the 3 subjects, say like mathematics, statistics, and operational research. You can consider any 3 subjects, and the class is composed of the girls and boys students. Okay. So this is the question. Say, again I am repeating the question. In a class composed of, there are 15 students, and 15 students having some the unique roll number. Okay, and they have given the examination of 3 subjects. The subjects are mathematics, statistics, and operation research, and class is composed of some male students and some female students. So how we proceed with the problem? Okay, so for naturally we have to write all the variables. So we start with the example already I have given. There is a file is there. This is the file. Say roll number of the students. Okay, there is a roll number of the students. This is called the variable view. So first step is the variable view, roll number of the students, and roll number is the numeric. So that is the data type. So definitely numeric. And since there are 15 students, the data width must be equal to 2. I'm coming later on. Okay, say this part is very, very important. Say, roll number is a numeric, and since there are 15 students, that is 1 to 15, and 15 is the 2 bits, 2-digit number. That is the 2-digit number. Okay, 2-digit number. So 2-digit number, that's why width equal to 2. Okay. And naturally we know roll number having no fraction value. 1, 2, no, all are integer. That's why decimal is given. Next, coming to the part subject 1. Subject 1, the full marks is 100. So there is no fraction marking. There is 80, 90, and since the full marks is 100, there is a chance a student can get 100 out of 100. So that's why width is 3 and decimal is 0. Similarly for subject 2. Similarly for subject 3. And both all are numeric. So this is the first column, second column, third column, fourth column. Now fifth column is very important. Fifth column is the label. So what is label? Label basically used for the documentation of the name column. Question is why? Say roll number may be from NIT, maybe from your college of your student roll number. So you have to specify roll number of the student from which college or which university. So that is the documentation of the name column. Here the subject 1 can be any subject. So we have to specify which subject, mathematics, economics, geography, and so on. Subject 2 you have to specify. Subject 3 you have to specify. Okay. And similarly, now coming to the part gender. Gender is very, very important part. I'm coming to this part. Say, so when you get some data, you divide data into 4 parts. That is the basers. First part is description. Second part is ordering. Third part is distance. And fourth part is, origin. Okay. So first of all, a data only used for description. So that is called the categorical data. So now you divide in the 2 parts. One is the categorical data. Another is non-categorical data. So this categorical data is called non-metric data. And this is called metric data. So what is, and one categorical is unordered, and one categorical is the ordered. So in case of categorical, there are 2 segments. One is the unordered categorical, and another is the ordered categorical. So when unordered categorical, like roll number, only used for description, no ordering. So that is called the nominal scale. Okay. When you go for the ordering some data, say professor, associate professor, assistant professor, brigadier, colonel, general major. So these are called ordering. So when they are maintained some order, so then it is called the ordinal data. Okay. Say in case of Likert scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, taking the feedback and so on, so that you know very well. And when some distance, suppose what is your income, what is your age. Okay. So when you can get some measures of this interval, so that is called the distance. And there is some origin, say Ram age is twice of the Sam age. Okay, so then when you go for the some multiplication use, you can this origin. So these are the 4 types of scale. And when you apply some softwares like SPSS, Stata, or R, or Python, okay, or anything, Jamovi. So basically they maintain these 3 terms are very important. That is called DOS. just segment it. D for description, that is the nominal. O for ordering, that is the ordinal. S for scale, that is the continuous. Okay. If this is S plus continuous means it involves your interval scale as well as the ratio scale. Okay. So now here rule number definitely for the description is the nominal scale. Gender we can divide into gender basically male and female. Now we come into this part. Say your 6th column, that is the value column, is very, very important. Very, very important, I'm telling you. Very important for SPSS. Okay. The 6th column. Question is why very important? Because values column mainly used for categorical data. Mainly used for categorical data. Because gender is given, but you have to, there will be some place we have to define what is the meaning male and female. Male means 1 or female means 2. Suppose you have collected some questionnaire in the 5 Likert scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 means very good, 4 means good, 3 means average, 2 means poor, 1 means fair. So definitely there will be some place in software you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that will under value levels. Okay. So now I'm coming to this part. So that's why the question is how we write the gender. So next. So this is gender, male, female. So we go to this values level. One menu will come. Okay. And one menu will come, this is called value and this is called level. So first of all, for your understanding, I will remove this. Then you can easily understand. Remove this. So I have to write value equal to 1, we can put male, you can put female also, no problem. Male, and value equal to 2, we can put female, add, and click OK. So now 1 means male, 2 means female. Okay. So that means we convert, some qualitative data to the quantitative value. So initially gender, male and female, there is a character. We convert this qualitative as well as the quantitative. So this is about the variable view. I will discuss the other part. There is the other missing values if I get time tomorrow class. Okay. And this is the measure is the nominal. These 3 are scale and last one is the nominal. Okay. And this is the now data view. This is the data view. There are 15 roll numbers. There are different marks, subject 3 marks, and this is the gender. Naturally, male equal to 1. How you convert this? This is called the toggle switch. Just you see my movement of the mouse. This is called toggle switch. Okay, and if we select this, it will come 1, 2. We select this. Okay. So that means it will coming under value level. Okay. So then we will start our analysis in the tomorrow's class. I will explain one by one. And this is the basic part of SPSS, how you input the data in SPSS. So what are the steps? First step is the variable view, and second step is the data view. Okay, and this variable view, data view also you can import the from Excel. Maybe you can collect this data in Excel. So easily you can import the data directly from Excel to SPSS. But before importing, just you create your variable view perfectly from your questionnaire. Okay, from your questionnaire, either maybe from primary data or from the secondary data. So I think up to this today, because tomorrow then I will start in detail from SPSS and Jamovi. Can I stop here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As you wish, sir.
Okay. Now, actually, now it is you are tired. It is starting.
It will be fine, sir.
Okay. Okay. So can I am sharing? Stop sharing.
Yes, sir.
I think.
Sir, We are really thankful for your nice elaboration, and you have given such a long time in spite of your busy schedule. So
Okay.
I think all the participants are really enriched with such lucid elaboration, and especially this kind of board work is really helpful for participants for the basic understanding of statistics.
Okay.
And sir
Thank
has
you.
started with very basic from the central tendency to covariance and correlation. He has
Mhm.
explained very nicely. And also, we all know that for any kind of paper publication, how much important
Thank
is
you.
statistical data
Yeah, yeah,
analysis and
yeah,
SPSS.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
and sir, your elaboration will be very much helpful for the research scholars for their PhD and their research work. Sir will explain more and more in next class. Uh,
Tomorrow. Okay.
yes. So participants, do you have any question? If you have any question, you can put them in the chat box. Sir, I can find one question in the chat box.
Okay.
Can I
Okay.
ask? Okay.
Definitely, you can, madam. They
Yes.
can directly interact. They can directly, if you allow them, they can
Okay.
directly interact.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves and talk with you, sir. So,
Definitely,
participants, if you
directly.
have
That
any
is
direct
better.
question, you are welcome. But one Adhyata Shamanto is asking,
Hmm.
how can I be sure that the questions in the questionnaire are sufficient? So she is probably talking about data
Yeah,
collection,
yeah.
sir.
Very,
You can see it in the chat
actually,
box. I
very
mean,
good
is there
question
any
you have
way?
asked.
She is
Uh,
asking that is there any way to ensure that the
hmm.
questions are not redundant as well as enough?
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
This is the
So
first question.
I'm telling one by one. So this is basically used for the primary data research, qualitative research. So for the qualitative research, there is a technique of multi-stage sampling. That means initially when you start your questionnaire design, then go for the pilot survey. What is the meaning of pilot survey? First, you consider it as say 50 samples for your variable or questionnaire. And after going for 50 variable, then you go for the different methodology like reliability, validity, and you can use the factor analysis. And using this methodology, you can got the correlation and regression methodology. Then you can understand that there are some variables are redundant and some variables are useful which are not collected initially. Okay, that's why your results are not coming properly. So this is the very important part. Okay, and most of the cases there are some hidden parameters are there. Okay, so hidden parameters, when you start your research, then easily you can capture what are the hidden parameters involved in your model. Definitely hidden parameters will be coming from your domain knowledge. So that's why it's my request to all of you, those who are working in the primary data research. So they are go for the different types of pilot survey. And in case of primary data research, the sample size is very important, determination of sample size. And the different types of methodology like chi-square, you have to, the assumptions already, Professor Ashish Kumar Chakraborty told, the assumption is very important. And outlier selection is very important. Okay. And one by one, then you can assure that your variable are sure or not. Another thing you have rightly pointed out, John, when you go for your research, you have to set your the hypothesis. And from your hypothesis, then you can determine which type of data you need for which type of variable. Okay, that is very important. Not only that, the demographic profile is very important for your questionnaire design. Maybe you collect the data set from the demographic profile which is not relevant for your research. Okay, so that first of all you have to decide. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any, you can interact with me directly, no problem.
Sure, sir. That will be wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
If you have any query, then we can definitely interact with each other.
Do you have any query, participants? So, sir, we are really thankful,
Okay.
and we will again meet tomorrow. So now we would like to declare the end of today's technical session. And
Thank
as
you.
per schedule, we will again meet. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Tomorrow it will start from 3 p.m. Na?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So can I
So
leave now?
yes, sir. Yes, I think
Okay.
it will be fine. I would like to ask the convener, may we declare the end of the technical
Yes,
session?
yes, Didi, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Sharji. So,
Okay.
sir, it's the end of the session.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, sir. Have a good
Okay.
day.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Participants will again meet tomorrow at our schedule. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
At 3 p.m. Okay.
At 3 p.m. Yes. So
Okay.
good day to
Thank
all of
you.
you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.